Hello and welcome back to Vintage Disney here on Brian's Things That Are Cool. As far back as the early 50s when Disney started producing live-action films, they've loved telling real-life stories. In those early years, Disney was all about action and adventure, with subjects like Davy Crockett and the Swamp Fox. But by the 90s, Disney really wanted to tug on those heartstrings. Iron Will filled you with patriotism as we all rooted for the little guy overcoming any obstacle in his way. Goodbye, Miss 4th of July and the Ernest Green story told inspiring stories of the fight against oppression. Then in 1991, we learned the importance of being your own person and following your dreams in Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken was based on the memoir by Sonora Webster Carver, A Girl and Five Brave Horses. GABRIELLE ANWAR stars as Sonora Webster, a strong-willed teenager living with her sister and rather abusive aunt in 1932. Setting the film in the 1930s is an odd choice by Disney, as the majority of the real Sonora's early career occurred in the 20s. In the grand Disney tradition, Sonora is a girl that wants more. And when she sees an ad in a newspaper featuring a beautiful diving girl in Atlantic City, she decides to leave her oppressive life behind and make a break for it, joining a traveling circus. At first, the owner of the circus, Dr. Carver, played by Cliff Robertson, wearing a very impressive mullet, hires Sonora only as a stable girl because of her gift with horses. In real life, Carver had been a partner of Buffalo Bill Cody's Wild West show in the 1880s, performing a sharpshooting act, but left after an argument with Buffalo Bill to form his own Wild West show. That show brought legal action from Buffalo Bill, and the two men became bitter enemies for the rest of their lives. This makes Disney having Carver wistfully remembering Buffalo Bill giving him a jacket kind of amusing. Sonora sees Marie, one of Dr. Carver's bathing beauties, whose act of riding a horse off of a high dive into a tank of water instantly grabs her attention. When Dr. Carver's son, Al, played by Michael SCHOEFFLING from 16 Candles...
Who's he?
That's me.
Who are you?
I'm him.
wins a wild horse in a card game, Sonora is able to convince Dr. Carver to let her train to dive after she's able to tame the horse, which doesn't sit too well with Al, who's falling in love with Sonora. In reality, Sonora had already been performing for quite some time before the movie is set, and actually married Al Carver in October of 1928. In fact, Sonora's sister Arnett Webster French, who was only 15 at the time, joined the act the same year, but didn't see as much success. Sonora takes over as the star attraction of Dr. Carver's act with successful jump after successful jump, leading to a 6-month contract to bring the act to the Steel Pier in Atlantic City, New Jersey, which has been Sonora's dream all along. Historically, as a town with a seasonal economy, Atlantic City had a number of attractions meant to thrill visitors. In 1906, a man named John Lake Young opened the largest amusement pier in the city, Young's $1 Million Pier, and performed his Creatures of the Deep show twice daily under the name The Captain. His act consisted of lowering a net in the water below and then dumping its contents on the pier, identifying the wide variety of sea creatures for the stunned audience. Young had an encyclopedic knowledge of marine life, but whatever he couldn't identify, he'd make up. Young was Atlantic City's answer to P.T. Barnum. As shown in the film, it was Dr. Carver's son Al Carver who negotiated the Atlantic City Steel Pier. But this was after he and Sonora had been married and over a year after Dr. Carver died. When her main horse, Lightning, gets sick before the big dive, she's forced to use Marie's old horse, Red Lips, who stumbles off the diving platform, causing Sonora to forget to close her eyes as she enters the water. Sonora wakes up permanently blind, having detached the retinas in both eyes. But she refuses to let the incident break her will, and finds a way to come back and continue the act for 11 more years. This dive actually happened in 1931, a full year before Disney set their version of Sonora's life. But with the exception of Al Carver proposing to Sonora before the jump, it's a fairly accurate reenaction of the tragic event. Red Lips' dive into the tank was off balance, causing Sonora to hit the water face first with her eyes open, resulting in the detached retinas. Sonora did continue to dive, with both her and Al retiring in 1942. She went on to work for the Lighthouse for the Blind in New Orleans and became an activist for the visually impaired. Al died in 1961, and Sonora died on September 20th, 2003, at the age of 99. While she may have later criticized Disney for over-exaggerating her strong will and determination, with all due respect, I think it was one of the most accurate things in the film. Now, there is a corniness and over-sentimentality to Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken that could turn off a lot of moviegoers. For me, movies like this and Iron Will sort of make me forget about the emotional manipulation and just enjoy the heartwarming feel of the movie. It's escapism, with the reminder that this is based on a true story. If they got through it, you can too. That said, I can understand why the real Sonora Webster Carver was not a fan of the film. Of course, Sonora didn't see the picture, but did sit through a screening with her sister. She didn't like how much of the story was made up, and felt that the only thing they got right was that she rode diving horses, went blind, and continued her act for 11 more years. She also thought the movie made too big a deal about how courageous she was for continuing to dive after losing her sight.
What are you talking about? It's the premise of the movie. It's the title of the movie, for Christ's sakes.
Sonora said she did it not because she was brave, but because she had fun doing it. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken came smack dab in the middle of a time when Disney was producing beautifully shot period films set in the 1930s and the 1940s. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Dick Tracy, and The Rocketeer all captured what in reality was a rather bleak time in America's history through eye-popping cinematography that made the past seem more magical than the present, with a heavy golden glow to everything throughout the film. A view of Depression-era America with rose-colored glasses firmly in place. Like with The Rocketeer, there's a very obvious love for the time period throughout the film, and that nostalgic, sentimental feel works in the film's favor, even if the film's time period is about 10 years off from the actual story. Director Steve Miner, mostly known for slasher horror films like Friday the 13th, Part 2 and 3, has a handful of period films on his resume, including The Wonder Years, Forever Young, and even my all-time favorite biopic about Elvis Presley, Elvis, Good Rockin' Tonight, from 1990. And his way of presenting the film's time period, and even its important set pieces, are very recognizable in their straightforward style, heavy on the sentimental side, but still feeling real. Disney's decision to move the time frame of the movie up 10 years is very, very strange, and they don't really give a sense of time passing. Historically, Sonora would have been 19 when she answered the ad looking for a diving girl. So Disney's decision to have her be in grade school when she runs away is a bit questionable. The same can be said of the practice of making a horse high dive for entertainment, which may not hold up especially well with modern audiences. Though both Sonora and her sister defended the act, but it's still a heartwarming film. If you've ever found yourself at a low point in life, Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken may just be the reminder you need to be yourself and keep moving forward. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my look back on Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. If you'd like to be kept up to date as to when I release a new video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And if you really want to be notified, hit that bell as well. I'm Brian, and I'll see you next time on Vintage Disney.